Obviously, many people are highly anticipating the Nintendo Switch 2 as it's been the buzz around the gaming scene since Nintendo dropped that January 16th trailer revealing finally what the system was, confirming a lot of the information that was leaked beforehand. But it was awesome to see an actual real confirmation from Nintendo themselves, and of course get that trailer out there, get the first official look, and get more information on what we could be seeing this year, like a brand new Mario Kart game, for example, that is 11 years in the making. Also, a Nintendo Switch 2 Direct that's going to be happening on April 2nd, in addition to a hands-on Nintendo Switch 2 experience event that people are going to be able to go to in 3 separate cities here in the US and other places worldwide to get a chance to play the Nintendo Switch 2 beforehand. So there's a lot of stuff for people to look forward to this year in 2025 when it comes to Nintendo, as last year was clearly a year that they were kind of getting ready and on the way out with the Nintendo Switch 1, prepping for the Nintendo Switch 2. But what are the most exciting things or features that people are looking forward to the most with the Nintendo Switch 2 based off of the information that we do know from the confirmed leaks in addition to what Nintendo has shown off themselves? Well, I wanted to get to the bottom of that because people talk about systems all the time and what's important. People talk about themes, or people talk about the system itself, people talk about games, features. There's all sorts of things that people discuss and get into when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. But on the community page, I wanted to find out exactly what was the most anticipated things from what we do know. So the choices here were new Mario Kart and games, no Joy-Con drift and mouse features, stronger hardware / DLSS, and bigger screen, better build quality. And we have nearly 4,000 plus votes or so, and I wanted to go over the results with you guys in addition to talk about what I feel is the most exciting as well. So over on the community page, we have the results that are up now at this point, guys, and we're gonna start from the bottom and kind of work our way, or more like from the lowest percentage to the top. So at the lowest percentage so far, it's bigger screen, better build quality. Obviously that's going to be something that not people are going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm super excited for, just because the bigger screen, like the screen's already big on the Nintendo Switch OLED. Like it's already a pretty big screen, and if you compare it to older Nintendo systems like the Nintendo 3DS or the Game Boy Advance or the Game Boy, or like lots of other systems, obviously the screens are so much bigger and better, and the build quality is kind of like a given. So people are just kind of like, yeah, on that one. Next up is no Joy-Con drift / mouse features. Now, I thought this one would be higher. It's only 10%. I do think it's because many people do use, like, let's just say third-party Joy-Cons or actual Pro controllers, or a lot of people just probably don't have as much Joy-Con drift or whatever the case is, right? Or they get it fixed from Nintendo, or they fix it themselves. We don't know how the mouse features are going to be used yet completely, so I can understand that one being lower, or at least the second to lowest overall. But at the same time, I thought it would be a little bit higher considering what people say about Joy-Con drift. And for those who don't know, or if you missed the video, Nintendo patented Hall Effect Joy-Cons or Hall Effect sticks, and those reduce pretty much or eliminate the drifting issues, plus the leaker that actually put out the Joy-Cons and the system itself before we got the official confirmation. He has also doubled down on saying, no, it is absolutely Hall Effect joysticks in there. So he's probably opened that baby up to look and see and confirm that it does have Hall Effect. And once again, Nintendo did have that patent as well. So yeah, those are coming. So we'll see the mouse features as well. Nintendo teased it in the reveal trailer, like the Joy-Cons kind of sliding on its top like it is, or the middle of it. So yeah, those are coming as well. Now, second to highest with 27% was Mario Kart and games. Now, people are obviously excited about Mario Kart. People are excited about games. But yeah, this one was definitely lower as well than I thought. I thought the splits would be a little bit higher for Mario Kart and games. But at the same time, people are kind of like given and expected, like, you know, Nintendo's going to bring the heat with games. Heck, even with systems that haven't done as well, like the Wii U, for example, they did bring some heat with games. Obviously, the original Mario Kart 8, that game on there, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and many other titles that were on the Wii U. So even when things don't go as well, you know they're going to bring the heat when it comes to games. So I think people are just kind of saying, okay, yeah, that's a given. But in at number one is stronger hardware / DLSS at 58%. So 2,000 plus votes as of the time that I'm recording this video, it seems like. And that is crazy. That is crazy that it got over 58, nearly 60% 60% of the vote. And I think the reason why people are excited the most about this is because we've seen so many times that Nintendo brings out a game, or more like a third-party company brings out a game, and it's just not up to snuff, right? You just have some issues with the graphics, you have some issues with the performance, you have some problems with just things overall. And what this stronger hardware, based off of some of the leaks and based off what we're getting here, what this stronger hardware is going to bring to the table is almost like revolutionary. It could be like game-changing overall, especially the DLSS technology. If you haven't seen my most recent video where Digital Foundry went over the patents, and I kind of discussed that when it comes to game reducing size in terms of like the gigabytes size technology with DLSS and cloud computing and other things that's going to be able to help the Nintendo Switch 2 potentially based off of some of the patents here. Check that video out. And I think that people saw that video. Obviously people saw what Digital Foundry is talking about, and people are reading some of the articles. Nintendo Life wrote an article about it, and all of that stuff is incredibly exciting for the future of Nintendo's games, because they cooked with the more like limited specs, right, of the Nintendo Switch 1. They were cooking with games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and Super Mario Odyssey. Imagine with a multi-generation jump, right, when it comes to what the Tegra X1 is compared to the newer chips that Nvidia has, and compared to what they've been doing. Like, the mobile space has quadrupled plus. Like, it has gotten so much better in such a short amount of time, and Nintendo will be utilizing a lot of that new technology in this system. So I do feel that that's what gets people excited, because they know, hey, look, with this stronger hardware, the certain games that were having some issues or other things that Nintendo has done are going to be enhanced a lot. And we don't necessarily have to worry about the games dipping, like maybe Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I think stuff like that would be a thing of the past overall. Or even like Pokemon. Pokemon shouldn't run as bad as it does on the Nintendo Switch when it comes to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It really shouldn't, because obviously we've got games like Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U that's running considerably better and looking a lot better as well. But at the same time, I do think that it gives them a lot more overhead if they keep right around the same graphical fidelity, or maybe a little bit better than what they've done, and then they still have, you know, what they want to do with like a open-ended areas and all that. It's going to improve dramatically with that extra power and overhead in order to get things running and looking a lot better. So that's why I think that it won nearly 60% of the votes. Now, I do want to get into one comment. The top comment that someone had, Tanuki Den, said that he voted for stronger hardware / DLSS because it'll mean more frequent third-party support this generation without as drastic cuts to performance as Switch 1. If older games also get a boost natively or with patches, even better. And I think that that's something that, once again, people are looking forward to, because yeah, playing Breath of the Wild like at 4K 60 or 1080p 60, playing Tears of the Kingdom without having some of those frame rate drops whenever you pull the Ultra Hand and all of that. So I do think that that is absolutely something that people are looking forward to, because there already is a huge base of games, even with Switch 1, that you can go back to. Developers can say, okay, I'll patch this up or I'll do this. So even without the Nintendo Switch 2 and all the games that are going to come to the system, if developers decide to go back and patch their Switch 1 games with backwards compatibility, you have a lot of titles to go back and play. So that is very exciting. So the stronger hardware / DLSS brings about new opportunities, and opportunities that maybe you missed that could be improved greatly, and to where you can enjoy the game more. So you can definitely see why it won nearly 60% of the votes. And make sure you guys check out the community page, because we're going to be having pretty much new polls talking about different stuff almost daily on the channel. But before we get into the next topic, if you're enjoying this video, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my Nintendo Switch 2 RPG videos and live streams as soon as they drop. But I did want to move on to the next Nintendo Switch news here. And of course, there are a bunch of weirdos trying to sell Nintendo Switch 2 experience tickets on eBay, which aren't gonna work, because you need to have your Nintendo Switch online account in order to verify and do everything like that. So this is just a ridiculous thing. But be careful, guys. People are trying to scam out there. So I want to read this article. Shout outs to Nintendo Life for this one. And they say, we really should have seen this one coming. But as reported by VGC, tickets for the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 Experience hands-on event are being listed on eBay, with Nintendo providing confirmation to prospective attendees over the last couple days. It's become clear that those who have have been unsuccessful in their application far outweigh those who have been successful. Naturally, then a few people have decided that instead of attending themselves and getting hands-on time with Nintendo's new console, they're attempting to bag a cool chunk of cash by listing the tickets on eBay for purchase. At the time of writing, a ticket for Milan is currently available for either a minimum bid of £80 or a buy it now price of £300. But according to VGC, many listings have already been removed. The problem with this whole thing is that Nintendo itself has explicitly stated that the Nintendo Switch 2 experience tickets are non-transferable, so it seems unlikely in our eyes that any potential eBay sale would actually result in the buyer attending the event. So this is something that I think is going to be very important to look out for the Nintendo Switch 2 launch itself. We can talk about this, but we don't need to. This is stupid. This is not going to happen. Nintendo already said it's non-transferable. It's not going to happen. But I definitely think that there are people that are reporting this, and I think Nintendo might have even been going in there to some of those eBay listings and reporting this nonsense as well. eBay listings have been a big bane in the side of people trying to get systems overall over the years. People will list tons of systems that they scalp using bots on eBay. But I think that Nintendo is going to flex their muscle a little bit. And of course, the community saying, wait a minute, you can't be listing all of this stuff beforehand for super scalp prices. So I do think that this could be a precursor to people trying to scalp the Nintendo Switch 2 and it getting taken down. But I do feel that Nintendo is going to have a pretty large, I would say, allocation or supply of Nintendo Switch 2 systems, bigger than what they had with the Nintendo Switch 1 when that launched. So I do think that scalping maybe won't be as bad, but it could be, considering way more people are interested in Nintendo now at this point than the Nintendo Switch 1 when that launched, because people were coming off the Wii U and the 3DS. Those systems were nowhere near as popular as the Nintendo Switch 1. So there's going to be a lot more people that want this system, but I think Nintendo's going to make sure that they have more systems as well. And these scalping bots and these different things, they need to be taken care of. So Best Buy, Walmart, Target, all these different places, you guys got to up your game too as well. And eBay has to make sure that they can't see a bunch of listings before the system's even on sale. I think that's against their terms of service. So it's going to be a whole effort when it comes to the community to make sure nonsense like this doesn't happen. But I wanted to talk about it because I do think that this could be a precursor to what could be happening with the Nintendo Switch 2 and some of the listings that might get pulled, or Nintendo even coming in there themselves and making sure that stuff does not happen. But what do you guys think overall? Let me know in the comment section. But I did want to get into another idea. Speaking of the Nintendo Switch 2 launch itself, my friend Stealth and Paul Gale over on Twitter had an interesting write-up or idea about what they could do for pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2. And Paul Gale suggested an idea that when the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders begin, only make it available to the Nintendo Switch Online subscribers first. This would theoretically alleviate some of the congestion and de-incentivize scalping that make it available on every other platform. Now, there are good and bad things about this idea. I think that the good thing is that, one, you offer probably your most loyal customers that have the NSO or whatever the case is, you offer them a chance, almost like the PS Direct, directly sold from Sony. They limit how many you can buy at a time, and that's kind of available, right? Sony has done that a number of times. There's still a lot of issues with that type of system, but they've done it. And Nintendo's done that too. My Nintendo and trying to buy stuff like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and that was a disaster overall. So I can only guess that if they did do something like this, yes, it'd be cool, right? Because people that do have NSO and people that are the dedicated fans that want the system, that will buy games and are probably not going to scalp it, they're going to get first dibs on getting a system, which is definitely good for everyone that's, I would say, like a core fan and does love to play Nintendo games and all that. But once again, there could be a lot of issues, because there's issues with PS Direct. Anytime that you try to do direct sales through like one site, it usually bogs it down. I know that originally when the Steam Deck launched, there was a bunch of issues there. Usually when some of these other systems launch, there's issues when they try to do it and it just completely tanks the site. So I do feel that it's something that could be explored. I think it could be explored, and it could be explored as an option. When it comes to Best Buy, Target, Walmart, Amazon, all that, these are the main places where scalping happens, where there's like crazy scalping and bots. I think Best Buy, out of all the different companies, or all the different retailers more like it, they do the best job on making sure that they have like anti-scalp protection in there. So I do feel that offering this might be a nice little thing. I don't think it's really going to impact everything else. I know there's some people that were concerned or worried, well, I don't have NSO, so, you know, that's not fair for me. And it's like, okay, I get that, but there's other places that do that. I mean, there's stuff like tickets. There's people that get like, you know, subscriptions for different stuff where you get early dibs on things. And some people have mixed results when it comes down to it. But I don't think it would necessarily mean that there's way less for everyone else, because obviously they're going to have to do pre-orders and they're gonna have to do stuff for retailers as well. Nintendo has big sales when it comes to the regular retailers too. I just think that it would kind of de-escalate things a little bit when it comes to traffic, and it would kind of make sure that the scalping situation isn't as bad at first, especially for the most dedicated fans out there. It's an interesting idea, but the execution could be incredibly sloppy, and based off of what we've seen before in the past, doing stuff like this is difficult, but it can be done. Like I said, the PS Direct, they've done it before, and other places have as well. But what do you guys think overall when it comes to everything that we talked about with the Nintendo Switch 2? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.